lot of our other interviews that we've done about Fabulingua, add it into another podcast and that I produced. And I'm really excited to welcome the co-founder of Fabulingua, Leslie Omana. Leslie, how are you? And it's exciting to continue this venture as a guest, but now having a podcast. Pretty cool, right? To talk about all the great things happening
Yeah,
at Fabulingua.
absolutely. Very excited about it.
All right.
Love talking language, love talking Fabulingua, and I love talking teachers. So,
All right. So today's topic is really interesting. We're going to talk about the premium teacher dashboard versus, and that's new, the premium teacher dashboard versus the free teacher dashboard. Kind of go into the differences and what was the reason to, create this premium version.
the free teacher dashboard, it's a little bit the thinking was, we really want to make sure to give as much content for free to teachers because we don't want to be making money off teachers. They're the last people that we want to be making money from. So we really decided, let's give the content for free to teachers and then create a premium version where there's more gameplay, more convenience, a whole lot of extra things that are going to make life easier, but they're not totally necessary. So if you that way you're free, haha, to get the free paid for the free version of the teacher dashboard, and that's going to serve a lot of teachers. But if you can get the budget either through schools or through parents to upgrade, it's going to make your life much easier and it's going to be much more motivating for children. So the big difference between the free and the premium is first, it's on the amount of content that's available to you at any given time. In the free version, teachers are allowed one active story per class at any given time. So that means the whole class has to work in monolith. So they're all working on, Rani Sapi Mi Familia. And then they all stop working on that at the same time, and then they all work on the next story at the same time. That's going to be convenient for some teachers. They're going to want to handle their classes like that. But for the teachers out there that have got different levels of proficiency in their classroom, they're going to want to put some of their students, maybe their heritage students, on more advanced material and some on more beginner material. And that differentiated, that personalization across what each child studies, that is where you're going to want to get your premium dashboard. That allows you to set many active stories at a time for a classroom. But most importantly, from a motivational perspective, it's going to allow you to turn on what we call student-led learning, which is basically the full-on game. So with the full-on game, the child, as they progress, they unlock the next location. And that unlocking of the next location, and now you're in Fairy Falls, and then you unlock the next location, and you're in the Fantastic Forest, and eventually Musical Mountains. All of this journey through this island of Fabulingua is really, really motivating to kids, right? That kind of intrepid explorer thing. And they get to do it on their own terms. They unlock as they progress. And that motivation just gets them to the amount of work they do just goes through the roof when they have access to that gameplay. And teachers really value that. And it's also really makes life easier for teachers because they kind of set it and forget it, and the kids just chart their own course. That gameplay is what is part of the premium teacher dashboard. So those are two kind of like mechanisms of how the app works. In addition, the premium teacher dashboard has so many supplemental resources. So a lot of printables, projectables, like games. We've got around the world for every story. We've got snakes and ladders, matamoscas, bingo, like you name it. We have just tons of games. They're kind of class-wide games. And each one works the content that you've learned in the stories, right? So you just get a lot of that. Some of them are there. A lot of them are move your body games across the classroom, or games in pairs, or one-person games like crossword puzzles, etc. So there's a lot of ways in which you can extend the learning from the stories into the analog world where there's interaction between people in the premium dashboard. There's much more of that. So really kind of giving you a much broader way that you can use Fabulingua with the premium dashboard.
one of the big things from what you just talked about is individualized instruction. You're not going to be able to individualize with the free teacher dashboard versus the premium, correct?
Yeah, I mean, the free teacher dashboard, all your students are working on the same time. That might be fine for some teachers, but the teachers who want to individualize, personalize, customize what each student's doing, they're gonna and you want to and the teachers who want to get the students motivated by the game, they're going to want to do the premium teacher dashboard. And over time, the premium teacher dashboard also is going to be containing many more features that are premium features like reporting to parents, reporting for schools, all of that kind of like heavy lifting. So the premium is a kind of combination of more motivating, more personalized, easier on the teacher, many more lesson plans that are done for you, that you just kind of plug and play, project the game up in the classroom and you're done. So it just saves the teacher more time in terms of reporting and stuff like that. That's all coming online soon. Yeah, but we don't want to like not give the content out to the teachers whose school can't afford it. And so that's why we keep the actual stories. They are all available. You just have to kind of do it one at a time in the free version.
I got it. And you still have the ability in instructions, a good way to test drive it with the free version and say, okay,
Yes.
now I'm going to go to my administrator. And as a former teacher myself, the first person you're going to go to is the principal. And you're going to talk and saying, okay, the things I want to purchase for next year. Oh, I would love this for my classroom. This would be perfect for instruction. Or if you're even regular ed teacher that wants to incorporate Spanish into your class, which a lot of people do already with the free teacher dashboard because kids already have Fabulingua. Hey, this is going to be a really good resource. It's going to reach these objectives, and I'm going to be able to really show progress, which is the reason why people purchase certain school items every year when it's time to order everything at the end of the year and all these
Yeah.
things because they got to see what's going to be the ROI in the fact of progress, the progress kids make with Fabulingua.
So yeah, absolutely. It's interesting that you mentioned, a sort of homeroom teacher who might want to have this as one of the elements, and she may not necessarily be a Spanish teacher. That's also the case for micro schools. They don't necessarily have a Spanish teacher on tap. So for those teachers, those in particular are definitely going to want to get the premium dashboard because the free teacher dashboard is assuming that there's a traditional teacher at the helm who's changing the active story from this active story to this active story because this week we're going to learn this and that week and so that definitely requires a teacher who's administrating and following a curriculum that she's kind of like either following ours or she's using another curriculum, but she's really kind of managing the fine tuning of what gets set every week. And you need a Spanish teacher to do that. So if you don't have a Spanish teacher, in the case of micro schools, pod schools, or if you're a homeroom teacher who wants to have one of your stations be Spanish, then you really want to get the premium dashboard because that is a real set it and forget it. You can turn on student-led learning and you don't have to speak any Spanish. The kids just learn on their own, and you might want to check in that they're making progress, that they're actually doing the work, and you can see that in the dashboard, but you don't have to be a Spanish teacher yourself. So definitely for those contexts, it's highly recommended. And of course, for tutoring as well, you're going to want to get the premium one because tutors who are using Fabulingua, they want the kids to be advancing at their own progress, at their own speed. And then in the once a week tutorial, you can check in. I was like, I see you did this and I see you did that. And I saw you got these grades in the mini games and this score. And let's talk about that anyway. So yeah, for tutoring also, you're going to want to get the premium dashboard.
Because data is very important in education. Without data, you're not going to be able to see progress.
Yeah.
You can see it. You can see it through observation, but data is one of the major things that schools are looking for when it comes to any type of educational product.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing I wanted to mention is that we're also doing, we've kind of been pretty thoughtful about how we go about this. We know that language teachers are very varied in their use cases and how there's from dual language all the way to specials, all the way to, as you said, homeroom teachers who are putting Spanish in their homerooms as a station. And we've really thought through, we definitely don't want the teacher to ever be paying out of her pocket. That's like one of our fundamental principles that is really important to us. But there are, if your school can't afford it, or there is no budget in your school for a language product, and we understand that, this is not a core subject in many schools, so sometimes there isn't that budget. We're creating a version that can be a parent-supported upgrade. So what that means is very often these language teachers tell us time and time again is parents in elementary school, they come up to me and they ask me, give me extra resources so my kid can learn at home. Because I understand that 2 45-minute slots a week is not enough. And I really want them to make progress. This is the window where they're going to learn a language. And so very often these teachers are pretty stumped in terms of giving them easy to use resources at home, especially when the parents don't speak Spanish. So we've created this parent-supported upgrade where if 25% of your classroom as a teacher signs up to get of your families, 25% of your families buys a family subscription, then that subsidizes 100% of your class for getting the premium upgrade. So that's a model that's used very often in schools. They have, the wish list at the beginning of the school year, which is, I wish, here's my wish list, parents. I need an area rug, a ficus plant, and a shelf. And most of those are under $100, and it's usually a minority of parents who buy them. And this is tapping the same thing, which is the teacher, you would put Fabulingua on your wish list. You would send out the Fabulingua emails through the teacher dashboard. And there, if they adopt their child there and then buy a family subscription, we'll see when you've hit the quarter mark, and then the rest of the class will be subsidized for the premium teacher dashboard. So if you've got some really keen parents, you get a quarter of them to sign up and you're good to go. You'll have the premium dashboard.
That's definitely in parochial schools. That's a great option for them, or specifically small homeschooling where they have to go into a center at times for homeschool, where it's not just, at home, where this is a great resource where a lot of times they have a Spanish teacher in the building, like where instead of having parents teach Spanish, they have that. So that's another great resource available for sure. All right. Well, best place people can go, Leslie, is where?
Well, fabulingua.com is our main site. And when you get there, you can go to the teacher tab, and that's where you would create a new account. And when you create a new account, you're creating a free account. And once you're in there, you'll see a button on the top right that says Get Premium. So click that, and we are going to be doing 30-day free trials of the premium. So you can try it. And it's not a credit card down situation. It's just a 30-day free trial. If you let it expire, it expires. Or you might think, hey, this is great. My kids loved being so motivated, and I love just kind of setting it and forgetting it. It made my life easier. Let's get the parents to pay, or let's get the school to pay. The other thing I wanted to mention as well is that, as well as doing the parent-supported upgrade, we're also going to institute a donor-supported upgrade, because oftentimes you may have, a local business or the PTA or some other body that does want to support language learning in their community, and they're willing to pick up the tab for a school or a classroom. So we're going to have that as well. So right now, you just email us about it at schools@fabulingua.com, and we can help you make that happen.
All right. Thanks again, Leslie. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Fabulingua podcast.